Yes. So just for today, because unfortunately the speaker didn't make a charge, y'all could remember speaking your teacher voice. So we'll keep it up, please. Thank you.
And thank you for accommodating me. Sorry, I had to be late today.
No problem, sorry, no problem. All right, let's. Got that called maximum volume. All right. So these are the votes.
Sorry, didn't realize I was passing this out. My fault. So it's that.
Go to this. Oh my God. Secretary.
Yes.
I'm reading you. So the fifth grade slogan is.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I love that. And I need to know what the fifth grade slogan. Secret. Oh.
That would actually be a great slogan. It's a secret. It's the
Okay,
actual-
good to
We're not.
I think just. What is quorum? Quorum is current, I believe you have 8 members currently because you don't have any vacancies.
Three,
So quorum is
four,
5.
6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9.
You have an open community seat that you will need to decide on. So as you start your meeting, you have at most 8.
Oh, I'm not included.
You're not including.
Okay, 4. So we're good. So
Uh,
we're just really missing one person.
Majority, you need 5.
Okay, we're just missing Chris.
Yeah, but these are all your vacancies.
Yeah, great. Okay, we're gonna let, there's some community members, I guess, who wanna listen in. So we're gonna let them in. Okay. All right, all right. Can you hear us? We have some guests here. Gonna get started. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are here for Mary Lynn's organizational Go team meeting. I have a script that I will be following to make sure we cover all points today. I am pleased to call this meeting of Mary Lynn's Go team to order. Today, I will act in the capacity of interim Go team chair for this meeting. Our first order of business is to call roll. We have an interim secretary who's serving only in the capacity today. That is Ms. Hecox, and she has the minute meeting template. Yes, for plug and play. So we will do roll call. So if you can call out the roles as they're listed there, Ms. Hecox, starting at the top, and we will take roll. So Principal Denise Briggs, president. 3 guardian spots. Yep, so we've got Addison.
Yes.
Addison Draper is present. We have Kari Ram
I'm here.
present virtually, and then we have Christy Perez, who is absent. She is our third parent. Instruction staff. All right, we've got Kayla Lees, present. Becky Hecox, present. Miss Snyder, present. Then we have 2 community seats. One is currently open. We will be nominating for that today. And Lindley is present. And our other community member is Scott Thorpe. Thank you for joining us, Scott. Scott is present. And then last but not least, our swing seat is Miss Boyajian right here. So in all, we are missing 1 go-to member, which I think is really great for our first go around. So thank you all so much for joining I don't know, it's a busy week for me, so I appreciate y'all being here, and taking the time. So now that we have taken roll, and we know that there's quorum present, we will be able to, take action today. So then move on. Oh, you know what? Diane, if it's live on YouTube, is it being recorded or do I also have to hit record? It's being recorded. The meeting's being recorded for all of you here present in the flesh and online. All right, so our first order of business is to approve the agenda. I've sent around some copies of the agenda, so if you guys can take a look. We are following Robert's rules, so may I have a motion to approve the agenda? And a second. Awesome. No amendments, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Kari. Everyone, seems to be in favor. We are now going to move to filling our vacant seats, which the only vacant seat is actually the open community member seat. Before we begin the process, I'll remind you all of some bullet points regarding the community member seat. First off, as well as any vacancies, if there end up being vacancies this school year. The principal brings forth the nominations for the vacant or open community seat. All Go Team members have only one vote per seat. Individuals filling a vacant seat will serve until the conclusion of that seat's term. Individuals filling an open seat will serve for the full 2-year term. And upon approval, individuals are immediately full Go Team members and may join the meeting. I do agree. So we're going to begin by filling our one and only open community member seat. This person will serve on the Go Team for a full 2-year term. I nominate Lindley Harris to fill the open community member seat. Just to share a little bit about Lindley, if you don't know her, she's been involved in not only the Midtown cluster community, but the Maryland community. Oh, I'm so sorry. You probably had to figure out how to get let in here. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So.
Sorry, you're. Great. So.
No,
And,
I'm so sorry. Thank you. Yeah, Christy Prez is there. Excellent.
then we have the whole team.
Everyone's here. The whole team. I love it.
I'm just gonna hit record because it's not going to marry me.
Yeah, we have to, we had to pivot because that is wrapped up in 2-factor authentication with an unknown person's cell phone.
Okay.
So that's why we are using a different one. I have yeah, it's been a process. I mean, I actually did get in and then thought that I was good, and then I tried to connect it to the Zoom and it asked for 2-factor again, and it's like, so.
Okay, so I'm sure it's recording to whatever YouTube channel you have, but just to be safe on the back end.
All right, so yes, thanks, Diane. So coming back to the open community member seat, and yes, thank you, Christy. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's here. I was sharing that I nominated Lindsay for the open community member seat because not only does she bring a perspective of being a community member at Maryland, she brings a longitudinal perspective of having kiddos, having experience with all the schools there to some degree. You were in Sims too at some point, right? Yeah. So Sims, council and council, how they work at schools. So that's why a little bit why I asked Lily to be our community member seat. So we are now going to proceed to vote on the name, vote on the nomination of Lily for the community member seat. Before we do that, any comments or discussion about the nomination?
Yeah. I'm gonna just say just for the record, but I think you're awesome. Does anyone else have a nominee they want to put forward? But I don't. But okay, but I just like anyone who wants to chance or talk. So, yeah. What are your kids?
I have a 5th grader here, an 8th grader at Howard, and a 10th grader at Vincent.
Awesome.
And they all went here. And they all went.
And they all came to
So,
Maryland.
right, my 11th year here.
Oh my gosh, Lily 11 year. Oh my goodness, it's my. I'm starting to think. Okay, great. So, okay, so now we're going to do the vote. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you, Kari. There are no nays, so, we are now going to say congratulations. Lindsay, you are now gonna serve as a community member on our Go team for this year and next. So thank you for your commitment to Mary Lynn.
Great question. How do you spell it?
Sure.
LYNLEY.
Good question. So in preparing for this meeting, I noticed that the next agenda item is to approve the previous meeting minutes. In scouring the Go Team archives, we do not have a copy of the meeting minutes from the May 20th meeting. However, I attended the meeting as an observer / I was getting my introduction as state principal, and I happened to have a copy of the agenda. So I figured, you know, for all intents and purposes, we could go ahead and. Oh no, this is the May 20th. It looks very similar to the agenda for today. So take one and pass it around. That's the agenda from our May 20th meeting. And we did follow the items as read. So we'll accept this as the minutes for now. And then I'm in contact with prior Go Team members to see about getting a copy of the minutes from that meeting. Were they taken? I think it was one of those things that was just May 20th, and the last week of school was like May 24th, so there was a lot going on. It was recorded. It was recorded. Yep,
I bet Elizabeth Broderick would have.
I'm sure she does. I just need to connect with her.
She was done by. Oh, it must have been Paul.
Okay, I'll reach out to Paul, and get those, because all the other minutes and everything was kept track of, so there's no reason for us to believe that it's not out there, and we'll make sure and get that updated on the website. But with the agenda / minutes here, do we approve?
I would move that we approve subject to right to revisit, should there be anything different in the required. Just to leave it open.
I would recommend just tabling it, because you can't approve minutes if you haven't seen it. So you can just table it until next meeting.
So let's table it and we will approve the
Motion to table.
motion. Excellent. Okay, so we will table that. Do I need a second for a motion to table? Great, second. Oh yeah, Lynn also probably have the rules. Okay, so now we're gonna go into a very exciting portion of our meeting, which is to elect our Go Team officers. Before we begin, I'd like to remind you that nominations do not have to be seconded. A member may nominate themselves. A member may nominate more than one person. And a member may decline the nomination during the process. Members may not serve more than 2 consecutive terms in the same officer position at the state school. That's not more than 2 years. Nominees do not have to leave the room during the nomination period or when a vote is taken. If there is more than 1 nominee for elected office, each nominee will be offered an opportunity to share why it's the best choice for that seat. Newly elected officers will assume their position starting at the conclusion of this meeting and through the end of the year, June 30th, the end of this year. All voting members only have 1 vote per seat regardless of office. So first, we are going to elect the Go Team chair. As a reminder, the responsibilities of the chair include, but are not limited to, leading Go Team meetings, working with myself and the Go Team as a whole to develop agendas, ensuring every Go Team member has an opportunity to be heard, and monitoring in compliance with the regulations. So I will now open the floor to receive chair nomination.
You're right,
Okay.
I was gonna nominate you, but I was worried you were gonna say no.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Okay, well, I hear Christy has a personal nomination, which we all are thrilled with, if I may speak on behalf of the team. So if there's no further nominations, I'll close the floor. And we'll begin the confirmation process. And you have one person being considered for the chair seat, that's Christy Perez. Christy, if you want to tell us a little bit about why you'd like to be the chair, I know there's not anything else, but at the very least, tell us about your kiddos, so everyone can know kind of your position here.
I am the super, I apologize for being late, I was locked outside. And also, I have to report pick up from my father. I have a 2-year-old after Nevada, and then I have a 3rd grader here, Devin Overfield. And then I have a 6th grader at Howard, Naomi Robles, who teacher. And so, yeah. My kids really have enjoyed being at Marian and really thrived, and I'm just happy to support the school in any way that I can, because I do feel like it's a great environment, particularly because the parents are very involved and try really hard to support the teachers. I previously was on the foundation board before joining the Go team. Last year, I served as our cluster representative for Mary Lynn and wound up being chair of the advisory team. So I kind of know how to run the meeting. And so I feel like okay nominating myself because I kind of get the structure and the flow of when you need to send out the reminders so that we make sure we have the things posted in time, etc.
That is music to my ears. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Even though.
filling that role.
I feel like very.
I know, right. Excellent. Yeah, right. Well, please raise your hand, look, do we have a motion? I don't think we have a motion. I think it's just a nomination.
In any event,
Nominations
Motion to
do not
approve.
need to be seconded, right? So anyone in favor, say aye, of Christie. Sorry, good. He says aye.
Aye.
All right, no opposition. So congratulations, Christie, and thank you so much. You will serve as our Go Team chair this year. And then we now need to elect a vice chair. So the vice chair's responsibilities include ensuring the Go Team follows parliamentary procedure, working with the principal and chair to develop agendas, and act as chair if the chair is not present. But also know that you'll receive support. So if anybody would like to make a nomination or nominate themselves to be the vice chair.
I will say that I used to be very good at Robert's Rules of Order, and I'm happy to jump back into that and do it.
That'd be great.
I'm also like, if somebody else wants to do this, I will say that my general philosophy of that is like move the meeting along.
Yeah.
And not let people like. I want to hear everybody's voices, but also we have an agenda and we're gonna move through it. I'm happy to take on that role, but I'm also happy to support anybody else who's been here longer and wants to do that. So.
I think that if you're in, I think we're in, we're all. Yeah, figuring it out and making it work. So I think that sounds great. If you are interested and willing to serve in a position, going with how we learn more about Christie, if you want to tell us, for the sake of the group, about you and your kiddos here.
Yes, so we've lived in Candler Park for 10 years now. My son Oscar is in 4th grade, my daughter Amira is in 1st grade, and because we have a PBK program, my son Remy is in pre-K, so we are all here for this year and next year for one drop off.
That's a sweet spot, man.
We've been very involved in the community. My wife obviously is the state representative for this area, so you'll see signs with our names, but that's her thing, not my thing. I'm just here to play the support role, but no, we love this neighborhood. We're here. I have worked as a lawyer for a really long time and like have done various mediations and like conference room stuff that we bring people together and we talk about what we're trying to organize and where we're trying to get to. I am not afraid to shut people down when it needs to be, but I'm also like very happy to listen to people and want everybody's voices to be heard. But in general, I mean, we're just very lucky to be in this school district and to be here with these people who care about it and are willing to step up. So,
Thank you so much. And your next is now,
yeah, so,
just tell us.
yes, so I go by Addison.
Okay, great.
I have 4 names, Matthew, Addison, Dent Draper. All my children have 4 names, Syra now has 4 names, but when I was born, it was shortly after my grandfather died, and my father wanted to name me Addison Dent Draper, and my mom was like, Addison's a big name for like a little kid.
Oh,
And so they put a little Catholic name, Matthew, in front of it,
okay,
and I decided to transition to Addison
okay,
later on, but I go by Addison, but yes, my legal name is.
got it. Okay, just making sure. I was like, oh.
Yeah, same person.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Addison, for choosing or, volunteering to serve in this role as vice chair. So, all in favor of Addison being the vice chair of our go-to this year, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Addison, it's your big, your big break. You're gonna serve as the go-to vice chair this year. All right.
I get to tell my wife we both serve in
You
elected
can
positions.
Wow. Yeah. Power couple. All right, so next up, we're gonna elect the go-team secretary. So as a reminder, the responsibilities of the secretary include, but are not limited to, posting go-team documents to the website, which I will directly support with, because I post to the website. So just know if you're the secretary, the intricacies of that would be sharing the go-to documents with me, and I will make sure they're posted to the website. I can also collaborate with you to post them to the website, but that should not feel scary if you don't know how to post things to the website. Just want to preface that, right? Because people are like, website, I don't know how to do that. I will support whoever decides to be the secretary. I would say one of the biggest responsibilities is taking minutes at the go-to meetings. There are templates for meetings. I'm just trying to, zhuzh this up so that people feel like they can handle a secretary position. So you'll take minutes. There are templates that exist and they align directly with the agenda. So it's a lot of plug and play as far as taking minutes go. And then we'll also need to make sure that the go-to is in compliance with Georgia open meeting laws and abiding by the timelines that are shared by the go-to office regarding posting agendas, summaries, and minutes for the community. So I will now open the floor for any secretary nomination. I knew this was gonna happen. That's why I tried to talk it up, y'all. Y'all heard me try and talk it up.
Yeah. Like looking over meeting minutes, like it's not as much. Like at the end of the day, like, when you- it's just like, we talked about this was decided, it's fine.
Scott, I appreciate it. And now, oh, you didn't let that person keep talking. Now, tell us about your relationship with Mary Lynn and the community.
Yeah, so I have 2 kids in Maryland this year now. I have a son who goes to kindergarten. Who is expecting her. I only lived in Camas Park for about 4 years. I grew up with that 2 months from here.
Oh, great.
And
Did you
so-
go to Midtown schools?
I
No.
did.
Okay, okay,
So I went to a bunch of different schools.
okay.
But my parents still live off Clifton. So moved away for a long time. But yeah, I also am very excited to put my kids in school. I'm traveling on the way through the car.
Yeah, a few good years. coming
Yeah,
ahead, right?
yeah. I did.
Kindergarten and
Really
second,
excited
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
So yeah, that's I also work in State government for DPH.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome, Sir Secretary, it's not Madam Secretary, I guess, that's what I mean to say. But welcome and thank you so much. If there are no other nominations, we'll close the floor. Please raise your hand to vote for Scott to be our secretary. All in favor, is aye.
Aye.
Awesome. And no abstentions or nays. So congratulations, Scott. You are the go-team secretary for this year. Your wildest dreams have come true. All right, and now finally, we will elect the go-team cluster representative, cluster reps. As Christy mentioned, may also hold an officer position, but will be the representative to the cluster advisory team meeting, which involves all of the schools in our Midtown cluster. It says approximately 4 of those. And basically your role will be to attend, advocate on behalf of our school and Go team, and then report back to us regarding what you learned at those CAT meetings. So I will now open the floor to receive cluster representative nomination.
I'll nominate myself.
Or self-nomination.
We know when they meet, like.
Quarterly.
Quarterly, but like weekends,
Don't think on the
weekdays.
calendar yet.
or-
I would imagine that.
We did,
Yeah.
in the evening, and it has to be after, the
Middle
hours get out, so it's, there's
Usually.
usually. Last year, they were like 6:30.
Okay,
The first cluster meeting is on the 18th. At 5.
Of September.
And virtual.
Great, yeah, there you go. They are.
Okay, excellent. So it sounds like we have a nomination here of Lindley. If there are no other nominations, I'll close the floor. We will do the confirmation process. All in favor of Lindley serving as cluster representative for the Go team, you raise your hand and say aye. Awesome, thank you, congratulations, Lindley. I've never said congratulations much in my life, so I think I have a lot of power. You will serve as our Go team cluster rep
You're
for this year.
super-
I mean, wow, I'm really bringing it home today, really bringing it home. All right, so now we're gonna review and approve our public comment protocol. There's a lot of verbiage here and I kind of remember before the meeting, basically, we are required, to have public comment at some point during our meeting. It doesn't have to be every meeting. I feel like it's pretty standard. It needs to be just go ahead and have it at every meeting. So we don't have to like pick and choose 4 times. Overall, we're only gonna have 6 to 7 meetings, so why not just have public comment at every one? Go team members will not provide responses or engage in conversation during public comment. It's supposed to feel a lot like the public comment period at the Atlanta Board of Education meetings. If you've ever been to one of those, it's really just a time for any community members to share information or concerns or questions or ideas with the Go team. So at least 20 minutes of time has to be allotted for the public to make comments at the meeting. And the public would receive at least 2 business days notice of the public comment protocol, which will actually be on our agenda and posted for the Go team employees. So last year, the public comment protocol was 10 minutes. You can actually see it on the May agenda that I passed out. There's a public comment of 10 minutes at the beginning. That's up to 5 individuals for 2 minutes. And another public comment period of 10 minutes at the beginning of the Go team meeting. So now that we've reviewed our public comment protocol, are there any recommendations for changes or updates to that?
I would just ask for people who were there last year, was it helpful splitting it?
Great question.
I don't think it should be 20 minutes at the end.
so the only concern with that, so Howard just changed it to make it the 10 and 10 split. Because it's something on the agenda and has already been motioned or approved, nobody could comment about it in the comment time. It was just,
No one ever commented on it.
which is also probably the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Would it make sense to put like 20th in front of, like, here's the agenda, do you have anything?
Midtown.
I'm not, I don't know, I'm just asking.
I think that go ahead. No, you go ahead and share more.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I don't think it makes sense to have 20 minutes at the beginning, because a lot of things that people might say might be reviewed or discussed during the meeting. And I think that it makes a lot of sense to have time at the end, so that if people have comments on whatever was discussed, then they could be recorded.
Would there be a way to like split it so that like the beginning meeting, the beginning 10 was like, you've seen the agenda, do you want to say anything? And the last 10 was like, limited to things that have been discussed and are going to be on the next agenda? Or is it just better just like, just be like, yeah, you got 10 minutes, like
But
that,
I also think it's.
yeah.
We got.
Yeah, that's what we
maybe one
noticed, was
comment
a lot
last
of
year.
people joined. Like in the
Wait.
middle of our thing, and then would ask questions. Yeah.
And really, the only time I remember any conferences when we had a special session for the principal search. And we actually invited people, like right before we were going to the interview, to make comments. That was really the only time people really come.
So in that 10 minutes. What is our ability to limit like a particular speaker?
It's 2
2
minutes.
minutes each, right? And we just pick whichever 5 people we want, or like,
First
so it goes through. or
Do the
like,
first one,
yeah.
the first one.
And then like, if we wanted to extend it, we can do that, right? I mean, not that we would, but if we did, or not that we necessarily would, but like we.
Yeah, I think that it's the same protocol for every meeting. Just says.
We need to have 20 minutes, like,
You
bottom
have
line,
to,
like, we
yes,
need to have.
that,
20
yeah, that is for sure, at least
Right.
20 minutes of time must be allotted for the public to make comments. But it doesn't say, and then it says, having at least 2 minutes to speak during the segment. But really, it doesn't say anything about, post a clear process for how individuals sign up or indicate they wish to speak. I don't know if was there a sign up?
No, because we never had 5 members of the public join.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
No one.
Do they need you to like say what topic they're gonna speak on, or is it
No.
just like, you can just go up and say whatever you want? I mean, that's
I
fine.
think you
that's
can
fine.
stop them if they start targeting personnel.
Yeah, there's.
Be like, yeah, no, there's definitely rules about that,
Yeah,
like, just like, nope, that's not what we're doing.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
And then.
We made individuals like
Right.
Israel though, and Howard's, and that is what they're.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, that violates.
And what about individual, like,
No, that it's that man.
And you can also just, when you cut people off, remind them you can do copy.
right, there's other ways to
other
address
forms.
these, yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
how
more
we're doing it.
appropriate.
They can email all in all.
Okay, so now that we have reviewed and discussed our public comment protocol, may I have a motion to adopt the public comment protocol at 10 minutes at the beginning and 10 minutes at the end?
Second.
Second, all in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. I know.
Made the motion for.
Motion, it was Kristen,
Okay. I'm sorry.
Good, no, you're doing a
Great
great
job.
job. You're doing a great job. Yes.
Sure you don't wanna do this going forward?
Right. They're like, come on, Becky, come on. All right, excellent. So that is our public comment protocol. That'll remain the same as last year. Next up, set the Go Team meeting calendar. So adhering to the agenda, we're now going to discuss our meeting calendar for the year. As a reminder, our Go Team is required to have at least 6 business meetings this school year. Board meetings must commit time. We just discussed the population that have public comment time at every meeting to keep it consistent. Meetings cannot be held during the instructional school day. So unlike foundation meetings, like this morning, our foundation board had a meeting at 8, we cannot have Go Team meetings during the school day. Which in our school is this 7:15 to 2:15. Meetings must be live streamed and recorded per the recording device here. And meeting locations for hybrid meetings must be places that can accommodate the public, so have to be larger open spaces such as media center and not a conference room. So any suggestions or recommendations for meetings and times? I realize that this Wednesday 3 p.m. time may or may not work for everybody. And if it doesn't work, that's totally fine. I know that generally the Go Teams in the past have held their meetings in the evenings. We can do hybrid, we can do virtual. I personally love being in person. I think it's a really great way to build community. And I'm also aware of the barriers to being in person you know, frequently. So any suggestions for recommendations?
Sorry, so start time based on school calendar, is that our school calendar? Okay. It's
During
not,
Mary
it's not the whole, but,
No, Mary Lynn's instructional hours.
um.
Or
Wednesdays,
does Wednesday at 3 p.m. work? I mean, if Wednesday at 3
Wednesdays
p.m.
work for
works
me,
for people,
though, honestly, but
then
And
that
I think
is
it's
a,
a nice gesture for teachers, they don't have to go.
I mean, it's a jackpot for
Yeah.
me if we can do Wednesdays at 3, to be honest.
It's a struggle to be on at
It's
6:30.
hard, it's
Correct.
hard, and it's hard to stay focused, and it's hard because at 6:30, it feels better to be virtual, I think, because you don't have to come back up here, but then virtual meetings tend to get. So,
and it's 3 like your guys' end of day.
so really kiddos, everyone is out by 2:45, like teachers' day end, like teachers can really need at 2:45.
I mean. I. 35 on Wednesdays, if that's easier for you, then-
Prefer that. Great, great. And hey, listen, if everyone else can do earlier, but I can do it. What about party?
Call me, I'll let you know.
So right before Lindsay's up there and then she can go here and I'm sorry, we left you. Pari, how do you feel about Wednesdays at 2:45?
That should be good, actually. I was about to comment on that. Thank you for asking.
Goodness.
Love that.
Oh, love that.
Cool.
Okay.
Just a reminder, we don't meet every month.
No, not every month.
So
It's gonna be 6 times, so we can get the dates on the calendar right now, so. And I have a. Quick sheet from Miss Jody here. That has a list of.
Do you want me to pull up a calendar on the Zoom and share it?
Right. I know, I've received this. Beautiful document outlining the topics that we stick.
We have the break in October. Should we do November and December?
I remember it was like, we had to, well, the winter meetings were based
Were
around the
about-
budget.
Oh,
When the district gave the budget, so that we could then, discuss it.
Yeah.
But in the fall, the meetings were really bookmarked based on setting our priorities and our like strategy. And so we had to have them turned in by a certain time. But we didn't have a, we weren't waiting on the district to give us. It's been.
There's a document that I would be able to more easily access. Currently being utilized, it's the 6th, meeting framework that Diane shared. Diane, is there any way that you can help us with that? No, it's not on my computer. Well, I mean, it is on my computer. I was gonna go through Teams to access it. Okay. But you know what I'm talking about, just the 6 meetings. Yeah. Oh, meetings at a glance, that's what it's called. At a glance. Oh. I found it. And also there it is. Can't see. Wow.
Okay.
All right, so I think go to the next one for me, because I think we're gonna do the 6.
Okay.
Okay. Great. All right, so this is it. Great. Well, it looks like we're having one in September. So if you want to wait until the end-ish of September to do our meeting number 1, I don't know if you have a suggestion to date, or we can do it in early October.
We're talking about.
And the months are suggestions, it's not required, but I think that the way it's laid out, it makes sense.
18th or 23rd, works for me.
18th or 25th
Of September or?
September, sorry.
September.
I would-
You
Yeah,
have all
does
of them now.
this doesn't count as the first meeting? For the first,
Ish. The window doesn't close till the sixth, so technically the scores aren't official until after the window closes. But yes, I will have them by the 25th.
so we can do it.
I would prefer the 25th as opposed to the 8th. All right.
Is your foundation meeting, is it in the afternoon as well?
You know what, I need to see, I'm looking at the wrong calendar, and I appreciate you saying something, so if you have it personal, not the.
No, but
Thank you for asking, the foundation meeting is the next week. So thank you, I'm glad you asked, because our foundation meetings are on Wednesdays as well, but the 25th works for me, the 15th works for you all. Okay, so meeting 1, September 25th. Meeting 2 in October. We're gonna do a new strategic plan update, spring to fall growth. So I have an expanded cabinet meeting that day. I do not know how late that is going to go. I don't even know if it's still gonna happen because it's been scheduled like prior to that's gonna be superintendent. So let's roll with it, and if I have to leave, I'm here and I have to leave.
23rd.
Or I could, yeah, or I could. Yeah.
I just feel like October is nuts for fifth grade, just with like, I'm just with Wasiga and fall break. I wonder if we could do November and December. One in November, one in December.
When do we get
Since
out?
we are meeting so late in September.
Would have to be like early November, early December. Because of holidays and everything, so like.
It could be like first week of November.
November 6th.
November 5th would be, November 2nd to Saturday.
Sorry, I was looking at.
And November 6th would be great. I would be.
I mean, inevitably somebody's gonna be out, right? I mean, I think that. Just make sure we said November. Oh, no, hold on, it's a foundation, but I think it's a morning foundation. meeting. Okay,
Please knock on wood. Sorry.
all right, so Wednesday the 6th. Is our November meeting, or I'm sorry, meeting number 2. And then meeting number 3, finalize strategic plan. Rank strategic plan priorities.
Sit
45.
Or the 11th.
The later the better for winter map. The window starts in late November, and should be done by early December.
So the 11th.
December
I
11th.
think the 11th sounds right. Yeah, we should have an app at that point, and on that day, of course, I have another expanded cabinet meeting, but we're gonna roll with it because.
That's fine, yeah.
I can leave, I'll have to leave at 2:30. I gotta come and support my school. I think that they support that. All right, so that's our, this meeting number 3, December 11th. Meeting number 4, late January/February. This is gonna be a big one. Definitely can't complete this meeting until I receive my budget. Our draft budget and allocation for the next school year. So I would say.
Last year we did it, 49th of February, just to make sure that the information was received and had time to be like moving the lines. So we check it.
I would say probably the.
Is that not a week wrong, right?
It is definitely gonna be
Yeah,
run
it
late, right? Because I also tried to schedule a principal's copy that week, which was not gonna work.
For about February 12th. I mean, that's like 2 months from the previous meeting, but it was a lot of breaks there.
Well, the thing is, the district gets the budget to
Right.
her in January-ish. And she has to, manipulate it into a draft. And get it to everybody a week before the meeting to review.
Right.
Sometimes there's a delay.
Yeah, maybe we did.
How do we feel about February 26th?
So the way, for the budget process. A couple of things going back to what, Christie said. I'm going off of what has happened in the past 5 years. Allocations are given out around MLK Day. Then after you get your allocation, the principal will develop a draft budget that she will bring to the GO team for their feedback. You have to finish your draft budget before you have your staffing conferences, which has either been during that week that the students have the break or the last week of February. So I would not recommend scheduling your budget meeting for February 26th. I would definitely front load it sooner in February. So that's why I said late January, February. Because the other thing is, depending on what you bring back for draft budget, if the GO team, and I know you're not gonna do this, but let's say you decide, well, I'm gonna put all the money in beach volleyball courts. And the GO team's like, that's not our priorities, and you have to go back and.
My priority. It's very good.
Yeah, you might have,
It's not saying.
you might need a second meeting or a work session or,
Fine with the 12th.
MLK Day is January.
January 20th. Maybe when you February 12th, that's fine with me. Any opposition to February 12th? Alright. So
And if we need to read, like,
And then if we
schedule,
need
it's
to reschedule, we can have that
like
on the 26th.
virtually or whatever.
Sure, sure, and hold the 26th for a potential follow-up if needed.
as long as it's before your staffing conference. Because from a governance lens, the way that this is, so if you think about this from a governance lens, what's happening is the team is telling you, this is the budget we want you to advocate for down at central office. So if the team's like, oh, we are all into beach volleyball and we want you to hire beach volleyball court coaches and this is why, then they want you to go to staffing conference and say, this is what we think is going to be good for our school.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's a very good offer.
that's 4 and then hold the 26th for a follow-up if we need
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And
And
then we've got March and April.
Alright, so then March is the budget approval meeting.
Just to confirm, did we finalize on February 12th for the February meeting?
We did, February
Yeah.
12th.
Thank you.
And again, just like you know, what finance is usually asked for is by that second Friday in March, so around the 15th, when they want you, is the deadline for removal. So like for the first 2 weeks.
So do we want to do 1 month from the February meeting, March 12th? For approval? Okay, February 12th, March 12th, and then our final meeting in April/May. I think May 20th was the one last year. I would not want to do May 20th. I think earlier the better. Before we get to the crazy May.
14th, so.
April mid-year. So that, now that would be,
That's March usually.
Oh, yeah.
End of the year back.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, because it's normally spring.
what's earlier?
The in March is when we get, it's somewhere in that last one. I know it's always.
Before spring break.
Yeah.
Before spring
so
break.
It could possibly be that.
So if we did like April 16. We would probably have.
Let's try and do one more. Can we try and do one more week back on April 23rd? So let's say April 23rd, we'll do the final.
So you went with the 6th meeting on April 16th, right?
23rd.
Or 23rd, okay, thank you.
So
Yes.
just to recap it all, I'm seeing Wednesday, 2:45,
Let's say 2:45.
September 25th,
Yep.
November 6th, December 11th, February 12th, holding February 26th if we need it, March 12th, and April 23rd.
Are these all gonna be hybrid? Or?
They will all, I would like to, suggest they're all hybrid in this format, knowing that at the very least. For the most part, most likely staff members would be here, and anybody, I mean, I get we all are fairly close, it's small. We'll run. And then if needed, obviously, if far here, and probably out of town, and things like virtually, we'll always have the option, but we do have to streamline it. So there will always be a hybrid option. I would like to default to joining in person.
And always with public.
And always, yeah. All right. Now that we have determined our calendar, may I have a motion to approve the calendar? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, none. All right, and thank you. We have approved our calendar of meetings for the year. Thank you so much. Excellent work. Now we're almost. Okay, so now we're gonna determine our Go Team meeting norms. I have copied the Go Team meeting norms. Take one and pass it around, that are suggested by the Go Team office. I'll just go ahead and read those out loud as we're passing them around. Meetings of the Go Team, at Go Team meetings, only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members of the public present are quietly observed. As the Go Team, we will be fully present. We will follow the agenda as noted to the public and stay on task. We will be respectful of each other at all times. We will be open-minded. We invite and welcome contributions of every member and listen to each other. We will respect all ideas and assume good intention. We will approach differences of opinion with curiosity. So those are the provided Go Team norms. Does anyone have any changes to these norms? No changes. All right, here none. All right. So may I have a motion to adopt these norms for our Maryland Go Team? Motion. Okay, second. Awesome. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Great. Everyone is just yes, please, thank you. All right, now we will move to the discussion items on our agenda, which are blank, because when I made this like 2.5 weeks ago, I didn't have anything, and it's not really a discussion item. We will have a couple of discussion items coming down for our next, I guess, in first official business meeting. A couple of things I wanted to discuss, and I'm gonna touch base with Diane prior to our first business meeting is the implementation of standards-based grading here at Maryland in grades K1 and 2. If you're a parent here, you will get your child's progress report on Thursday, and one of the kind of barriers we met very specifically in kindergarten and in first and second grade as well is that a number of like an 85 in reading for a 5-year-old feels very vague, doesn't give a whole lot of direction to you as a parent. Or, you know, if that child were to move to a new county, wouldn't give their new teacher much direction to understand what that child actually knows and can do. So wanting to discuss with the Go Team moving to a standards-based grading format for our lower grades. So that's just an item we'll discuss. And then another discussion item I had, and I'll also be thought partnering with Diane on this to figure out exactly how. If I wanted to discuss with the Go Team the idea of using a school-based solution to choose, to have a little bit more autonomy around choosing curricular materials and instructional resources that we use here at the school. In the past few years, there has been a move as a district toward utilizing one instructional resource for the entire district. Oftentimes, we find that those instructional resources are not the best instructional resources for our teachers and students in Maryland. So one thing I wanted to discuss and explore as a Go Team is how we can utilize our capacity as a school governance team to investigate and utilize different instructional resources that better do the needs of our kids. So those are 2 items that I just want to put on your radar. Once again, still learning the ins and outs of Go Team and how we can use our capacity to bring those things to our school. But just a couple of discussion items I will be officially putting them. All right. So information items, principals update. Once again, we have had a lot to talk about today, so I'm trying to move through this quickly, but principals update, we have finished our first round of map testing, got just a couple more stragglers we're trying to do makeups with, that window closed on Friday the 6th. We also got back our milestone scores for math. That's very exciting for us. We had some really great achievement and growth for our students, once those scores are unembargoed for the at the school level. We will share out aggregate data, most likely out of principal's copy. I will also share it with the Go team, hopefully by our next meeting. Individual score reports are coming home for students who are currently in 4th and 5th grade. Their Thursday folders on Thursday. Like I said, it's progress report time, so those are coming out. We're at the 4.5 week mark, so we're officially halfway through the first quarter, which is insane because it feels like yesterday was June 1st, and I was my first day as a principal. So what else we have? Our PTA has sponsored our fun run again this year. That is on September 13th. We are looking to raise funds to install something called a blue interactive playground in our gym. If you've ever been to like a children's museum and seen those projectors that project on like a wall or a floor, and there's like bubbles and kids can jump on them and they interact with the projector, or the image that's projected on a screen. That's in a sense what the Blue Interactive Playground brings. It's an interactive system where there can be games, competitions projected either on the floor or the wall, and the system tracks student movement. So it actually can collect data on students, whether it's their heart rate or another piece of data around maybe their accuracy when they're hitting the tennis ball. And so it's a data collection tool that Dr. Bennett offers either to use in PE, and it also would serve as a sound system in our gym, which would really provide a lot more flexibility, specifically around having gatherings in that space or other community or school-based events like concerts. So just really eager to get that here at Mary Lynn. Full disclosure, Virginia Highland Elementary School has a Blue Interactive Playground, which is where I found out about it because I was the assistant principal there last year. And Coach or Danielle Ryan, Coach B, if you know her, she was the PE coach at BHE last year, but prior to that was a long time para sub, all around everything, all hands on deck helper here at Mary Lynn. Both of her kiddos are actually
just
Devin and
my brother.
Trent,
Yeah.
Trent and Devin. So her youngest two went to Mary Lynn. But anyway, so she utilized this Blue Interactive Playground last year as a coach at BHE, and she said it was incredible. And of course, she told Dr. Bennett-Blocker, and now Dr. Bennett-Blocker was like, I want that too. And we're like, yes, we will make that happen, because it's really great. So that is what we are raising money for our fun run. So if you are asked, you can pass that message along.
So next Friday.
So the actual fun run is next Friday. Tomorrow is the kickoff. So you'll see information come tomorrow in the weekly email, as well as in the Thursday folder about how you and your family can participate and raise funds.
I put back, not because I have any worries or concerns about it, it sounds awesome, but I'm just curious. The data that are like, how does that translate into like a next step for like how they teach the kids or like train the kids or like, or is it just like we want to be able to see what people like kids are doing?
It's more of like an instructional tool. So like a kid would like 5 kids would like run in place for 60 seconds and it would track their heart rate and they would like graph their heart rate.
But like, what does that go, like,
Instructional.
is there, are they gonna be like doing different PE after that? Or like, is there like,
No.
it's just sort of like a data monitor
It's
for
just
like,
like
where are we going?
For instruction. It's really for child use, not left for Dr. Bennett-Blocker use. Yeah.
To be super clear, I'm not concerned. I'm just curious.
No,
Like,
appreciate it. Yeah, great questions, great questions. Yeah, no, it's more for the kiddos to collect and utilize data as an instructional resource. It's not really
Okay,
Dr. Bennett-Blocker. Yeah, she has her own, I'm gonna forget what it's called. What's that? it used to be like the presidential physical fitness awards, but she has a protocol based on the Georgia health
Yeah.
standard where she collects data on students' health and physical.
That sounds, I mean, it sounds awesome, especially when like weather's not great and other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, like,
Yes. And honestly, it's just so useful to have another kind of like sound system of ways to gather in school. So also looking forward to that.
And it's also like the STEAM initiatives and integrates more math and science and.
Well, I was thinking about like when I do activities, biology type activities, for instance, instead of the kids, trying to fill their holes and where is it and all this kind of stuff, that technology can help out and provide. us, like,
I know, I know,
So that can be used, and like you said, in graphing and, there's so much instruction potential with the technology like that, I'm just.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Great, I'm sure it's exciting.
I had a question on that, and I know like it's a bit of a pretty significant investment, and that's something that we're expecting to raise. And I don't know if this is a Go Team discussion or not, but what if we don't make enough in the fund run? Is there an alternative? Is that something that we should discuss here? And the other thing is, it's an expensive piece of equipment, so who handles the maintenance of it? Is that something again that I know like the budget discussion comes later, but just something to keep in mind, or I just want to understand where does that come in?
Yeah, sure. So this is really kind of owned by the PTA. So the PTA is holding the fund run and raising the funds, and all of the funds that are raised through the fund run are going to directly go to the PTA, not to the school's budget. The Lou Interactive Playground is about a $30,000 investment. If we raise the same amount of money that we raised last year for the fund run, we'll be around about $75,000. So we are expecting fully to cover the cost of the Lou with the fund run funds this year. If not, it would just kind of remain a goal for primarily the PTA to fundraise for. I also know that the PTA general meeting is tomorrow night at 5:30 p.m. here in the auditorium, if you want to join. That's when they're going to vote on the budget, the PTA budget for the year. And you'll see if you attend that meeting that there are some additional funds that could be allocated to support the purchasing of the Lou. But that being said, I really think that we're going to cover it in the fund run. And then ongoing maintenance. When you purchase the Lou, you purchase a maintenance plan. So I think that for VHE, they purchased like a 3-year plan. And then after the first 3 years, there's an option to reinvest for like every 5 years. And that would just be an item the PTA would have to expect on the PTA budget year over to include maintenance.
Thank you.
All right, so I think that's, and I did talk about the PTA meeting. I think that's all I have for the principal's update. As far as next meeting, I'll have some clear data to share with you all around our fall map administration and our school-wide end of grade scores. So that's coming for you next meeting. And now, any other questions about that? We're going to move to the announcements. We are almost there. Anyone here have announcements before we move on to our few announcements that are listed on the agenda?
Really glad that it's big day.
Well, so it's funny. You were talking about your kiddos, and I'm into pre-K today, and I'm just gonna say, I don't know if it's the elephant in the room. I don't know if you all heard that there was a tragedy here in our great state of Georgia earlier today. And I read about that, and I was just having all my feelings. So then I had to walk down the kindergarten pre-K hallway and go into the classroom and have the children. And so I'm gonna cry because my child goes here now, and it's personal, but. So I walked in pre-K and they were taking their nap. But Remy was not. But Remy wanted a big hug from me, and it made me feel so special. So I love having
That
you
is
stay here too.
not surprising on either of those.
I know, but the kids who weren't sleeping were being very sweet and respectful and quiet while the other ones slept. But like, what's better than looking at a sleeping 4-year-old, right? There's just nothing better. I mean, they have their little like stuffies, and it's just. That's so special. So if you haven't, okay, this is where it's at. If you haven't seen pre-K napping,
What time is there now?
12:30 to like 1:30, 1:45. They're not. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, you get you just woke up. Oh wait, you did. And bless their hearts. So anyway, I love pre-K too, so I'm glad about that. We'll have as many pre-Ks, the Georgia State right from the start of the summer. Okay, so moving on to our Go Team announcements, please make sure that you have taken a look at Dr. Johnson, our new APA Superintendent's 100-day plan. There is a survey associated with that plan. If you'll go to that website and take that survey, I know I have. There is a Go Team G3 Summit in late September, which will have more info coming soon.
I have that info tonight.
Wow.
Saturday, September 28th, from 8:30 to 2:30. The theme is Leading with Purpose. Let's get to work. We asked that at least 3 Go Team members from every team attend, and it's going to be at Tuskegee Airmen Global Academy. If you've never been to PAG Academy, it would be beautiful, beautiful school, and they have an airplane.
And that's.
Yeah, they have already the full byway.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
What's the?
most half hour away. from the-
Yeah.
Half an hour.
Today's 28.
Not in Al,
It's in,
Yeah, it's,
the 28.
No, I didn't look it up, sorry.
yeah, it's in Washington.
We'll draw straight.
We'll just, let's make sure we have it on our agenda for our first meeting on, well, our meeting's not until 9:25 and it's 9:28. We might
So
need
whoever's sending out the minutes, like, or like this, somebody, I can do it, I don't care, but somebody just send out an email and say like who's interested, and then we'll just sign up.
Yeah,
okay, we can do that. We can do that.
I'd be happy to, I need to check my calendar, but if I
Sure.
can, I'd be like, I'm sure that we can get 3 people there.
And
Just. But you're on the like first year, and I would wait for half a day, and they do have some really interesting sessions, and they do a really great job of treating people and like being really thought provoking, but it is difficult to like, yeah, around soccer, some great thing.
Having 3 soccer games that day, but that could be satisfying. So maybe it actually helps me, that I.
It is homecoming?
So
easier.
I just think you need to go here. You
Okay.
can't go for 2 hours and
Dr. Johnson has committed to be there in the morning as part of the keynote session.
Oh, great, okay. All right,
Who feeds you?
when I send out the minutes and a recap from this meeting, y'all can respond. I will definitely try to be there. I'm most likely not to go. And then new Go Team member training and orientation. I have this pulled up that Diane shared with me. And it very, very well could be out of date because it's from the summer. But just make sure you have completed both your live orientation and your in-person Go Team, or not in person, your it's virtual. It's like there's a live orientation and then there's a self-paced portion. So just make sure I have that Kari, Becky, Scott, and Kelsey need to do the live orientation.
I went and I was with, remember, I
We
leave a
talked about it.
meeting
Yeah, you
so
did.
that
So you're good. I was
Yes.
good. Okay.
Yes.
Denise, did you
Yes.
say I have done the live or I haven't?
Not.
So, because I have,
Yeah, that's what I said. This
Okay.
screenshot is from my initial email that I got in July, so, or maybe June even. So if you have.
oh, okay,
So we'll review, I'll take a look again in the most updated spreadsheet that Diane has, and if there's any lingering needs, we'll talk about it on September 25th.
And someone would tell us when the live orientation is?
Yes, now that you're officially official, you'll get the 15 emails, and they'll be filled with information.
And live is like, at least it's like virtual live, right?
Yeah, virtual. And then I did want to say one last thing, under announcements regarding Dr. Johnson. There is a Midtown Community Cluster listening session that Dr. Johnson is hosting at Virginia Highland Elementary School on Monday, September 16th at 6:30. It's hopefully gonna be pre-packed with.
May actually get.
Oh, it's 6. It might be 6, Lily. Okay, 6 o'clock. It's gonna be in your weekly email and it's all over the website, so you can get the deeds there, but would love to have a group of Maryland students there to talk about our, advocate for our school community.
That means he's gonna be listening to us, no, we're gonna be listening.
No, he'll be listening.
He's supposed to be listening to the people, yep.
But your October APS board meeting, we'll talk about facilities and saying more information that you want to be listening to. If you're a parent in Maryland.
There you go, there you go, there you go. So October board meeting, need to make sure it's on everyone's calendar as well. Okay, well, if there's no more announcements or anything, we have reached the end of our 11-page agenda. Is there any additional business at this time? No, okay, and I have a motion to adjourn. Second. Awesome. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
All right, and thank you so much, everyone. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
We did. Thank you all for sticking around. I'm so thrilled with the 2:45 on Wednesday. Wow. It's like it's gonna be, we're all gonna like be here more often, like I feel like. Thanks, Barry. Yeah. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you. Thank you all.